Hey everyone, and welcome back. So we have an interesting question here today, a question that I got a few times from families, and I'm really excited about it. And it's how many dollars in scholarship money is 1 point on the ACT worth, right? If I increase my ACT score by just a single point, how much more money will I expect to get? So if you're interested in that, we are going to jump into it. I'm going to give you a little explanation on the stats behind it and the actual number. I'm not just going to say, oh, it's a lot of money or some kind of boring answer like that. I'm going to give you the actual hard and fast number, and we'll talk about how all that works here. So stick with me. Most importantly, if you like this video, you're interested in this idea of, ACT prep, how much that's worth, all of that stuff, please throw me a like and subscribe, because then when I post other videos, you're going to see them and you'll be able to watch them. And that's great. So if we're trying to explore this question, right, of how much money we can get for a 1 point increase on the ACT, we have to think about something that's a little confusing, right? And it's the fact that different colleges will give you different amounts of money for your ACT score, right? A lot of colleges will say, hey, if you get a 28 on the ACT, we're going to give you this much money. If you get a 36, we're going to give you this much money, stuff like that, right? Some schools, University of Alabama, for instance, I'm going to throw them as an example here. They say, you get a 36 on the ACT, we're going to give you a full ride, we're going to give you a bunch of stipend, and we'll let you go to our law school for free as well. So it's not always just about undergrad. Some of these good ACT scores can carry you all the way through, and it'll pay for your grad school as well. So we'll keep talking about that. But there is this confusing thing, right? That different schools give you different amounts. And the reality is that you're not probably just applying to one school, right? You might be applying to a couple, maybe even as many as 20. So if we have a little drum roll here, right? You guys can give us a little drum roll, a little sound effects. The magic number of how much a single point on the ACT is worth, based on our calculations here at our Granite Data Labs, is that it is worth $8,000. I want to make sure I get the number right. $8,451 over 4 years. So that's obviously, right, that's a lot of money. That's great. If you think about, that's just 1 point, right? That's a 1 point increase. Here at Granite, we have students all the time that have their scores go up by 8, 10 points. So that's like all of a sudden you're looking at $60,000, $80,000. You're going to have this increase. You're going to be able to get into more schools, but that $8,000, even if you only increased it by 1 point, is so much more than it would cost to get an ACT prep book, than it would cost to get, work with a tutor, to get on our app, to do any of that. The value play here is amazing, right? If you spend $8,000 for test prep, that would be crazy. Don't do that. Don't spend $8,000 for test prep. That's way too much. You can spend way less and you get so much out, right? If you spend however much money and you get your 10-point increase, you've made yourself $80,000. That's amazing, right? I would like to do a little test prep and get $80,000. Sign me up. I want that. So let me tell you a little bit about how this works, right? The stats behind this, because that's the kind of the extra kind of the variables, so that you don't have to just believe me when I say that it's worth this $8,451. So what we did to calculate this is we went ahead and we just pulled any school we could find here that reported how much money they would give you for an ACT score. And we plotted these all on this graph here, right? We plotted all the schools that we could imagine. And we see here, right, as your score increases, the amount of money you get also increases. And now we could use a little something called a linear regression. And if you're curious about linear regressions or stats or any of that kind of stuff, check out some of our math videos, because I really like doing stats and I would love to tell you more about how all this works. But for now, we'll keep it just we don't need to talk too much about stats or this video is going to get too long. We did this linear regression and we were able to calculate that on average, right, every point you increase, you get a little over $8,000 extra dollars. That's kind of how the stats work. Again, if that's confusing, watch some of our stats videos and we'll talk about it more. In fact, I might honestly even make a video where I explain the stats behind this, because it's actually the kind of stats that you would need to know for both the math section of the ACT and the science section. But keep on the lookout for that. Again, good thing to do, subscribe. If you subscribe when I launch this video, you'll know it's there and you can watch it, and that's fun. So that's basically how it works, right? Big takeaway, 8,500, let me make sure I get the number right. Sorry, $8,451 is what 1 point on the ACT is worth based on our calculations. We can easily assume you're going to get an increase of more than just 1 point. It's basically the best possible value you can do for college. I love this as an opportunity for students, especially if college is going to be a struggle for you to pay. This is the best, one of the absolute best things you can do. It opens up so many doors and it's so helpful. So if you have any questions about that, of course, just leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe as always. And I'll always say this, but if you want a super affordable way to prepare for the ACT, check out the ACT Everything course. It is an online course that we made here at Granite, and it is packed with tons and tons and tons of incredible resources, quizzes, videos, meditations to stay relaxed if you're tense, all of these great things that will help you increase your ACT score. And it only costs, it's less than $50. So, I mean, that's just, if you do that and then you make $60,000 with an ACT score increase, post us and tell it, because that's a great investment. You want to do that. So I will see all of y'all in our next video here. But thank you so much for joining, and I hope this interesting little Granite stat is cool and fascinating to you. See you later. Bye.